Hey everyone, my name is Sam Evans and I'm a filmmaker and a photographer, and for the last few years I've been working with Audi, both here in Australia but also overseas, shooting photos for their new model releases. Now whilst I'm here at home in self-isolation, I've been scrolling through some of my old archives, and it's been making me really inspired and really excited to get back out there once this is all over. But for now, I thought I'd pull out a few of my favorite shots and walk you guys through some of my top tips for shooting cars. Let's get into it. Tip number one, and I think this is a no-brainer for any car lover out there, but a clean car makes for clean shots. So the first thing I do is I clean the car and get it looking nice and crisp for the photos. Tip number two, and for me this is often the most enjoyable part of shooting cars, and that is finding a location. And this often means going on a road trip, which I also love. So I've got some examples here of some of my favourite locations over the years. This is the RS5 Sportback in Byron Bay at the car park. I like this location because the car park was really close to the water and I was able to frame the car with just the ocean in the background, and it really made the car kind of stand out. This is the Q5 and I took it to Orange in New South Wales into one of the state forests, and I really love how the straight lines of the trees kind of complement the curvy lines of the car. Another thing to consider when you're choosing a location is what time you're going to shoot at that location and what the sun's going to be doing. If you're shooting at sunrise or sunset, where's it going to rise, where's it going to set, how's that going to affect the car, how's it going to hit the car, and you'll find often with some of the colours in the Audi range that different types of light will actually affect the colour of the car and affect the paint colour, so it's kind of cool to play with that as well. So once you've found your location and you're happy with what you've got, and you figured out what time you're going to shoot the car, it's now time to start thinking about your framing and your composition of the car. And what I mean by that is, how are you going to position the car within the location, within the shot, to kind of show off its features and its details the best. So I think for me, there's kind of three main hero angles of a car, and that's front on at a slight 45-degree angle. And you can see here with this e-tron that kind of shows what I'm talking about. This way you get a nice look at the front grille, but you also get a nice look down the side of the car, and it shows off any lines going down the car. And it also gives a little bit of depth to the car. Another hero shot that I really love when shooting cars is finding a bend in a road and shooting the car whilst moving on the road. This requires two people, and I usually get either a walkie-talkie or I call them on the phone and speak to them, and kind of so we can be in synchronization and tee up the perfect shot. But in this instance with the Q7 down at the Margaret River, I just really loved the bend in this road. If you can find a road with a bend and place the car in the middle of that bend, it kind of leads your eye through the frame. So we've found our location, we've figured out our framing and our composition, and the final thing that I like to do when I'm taking photos is try and find a unique angle or a unique detail to shoot the car. So here's a couple of examples of that. This was in the A7 Sportback. It has a beautiful panoramic glass sunroof. So I thought using a wide angle lens, I could get a little bit lower in the driver's seat and shoot upwards to the palm trees. And I think it's just kind of really shows off the kind of panoramic view you get when sitting in the driver's seat. Something I really love to do, and it kind of gives this kind of first person perspective, is to shoot through the car out the windscreen and to a view. In this instance, it was in Sydney Harbour, and you can see the Opera House and the city skyline, and I really love this shot. Alright guys, that's it from me. I hope I've been able to give you some tips and inspire you to get back out there once this is all over, go on a road trip and shoot some photos. And I encourage you, after you do take some photos, to throw them up on Instagram, tag Audi Australia and use the hashtag #MyFourRings. Until then, stay home, stay safe, and I hope to see you back out on the road soon. Peace.